that there are some persons who have traveled quite a distance to be here. And I also realize that there are so many who are here who are committed to the ideals of our nation and who are committed to our nation embodying both the vision of our founders and our framers. And so I commend you as you inspire me. What is most important in November is not which persons are elected, but what is most important is that we, the people, reclaim our voice and that we again have the power to determine the direction of our nation.
Amen.
And so in that sense, I realize that there are some members of the Tea Party and those who are also here who are aware of many of the unfair characterizations of the Tea Party movement. Well, I, for one, have been embraced by every member of the Tea Party that I have encountered, and I look forward to meeting everyone. I appreciate your courage as you inspire me because your voices are unbought. Your voices cannot be bought or sold by special interest or by corporations, but your voices are resounding throughout this district, our state, and our nation, and they speak of truth, and they recall our nation to the best part of ourselves and all that we are supposed to be. And so in that sense, there have been some persons who were even asking me, Jerry, how can you as a African American attend a Tea Party meeting? And I said, first of all, I'm not an African American because Africa is a continent. And since I'm not African North American, I have a national identity, and my national identity is American. But then I went on to say that what I have experienced and what I recognize and resonate with in the Tea Party movement is a sense of community. Unfortunately, we have reached a moment in the life of both our world and our society where there are persons who profit from polarization and by tearing us apart despite our shared values. Community. I don't agree with that. Because what I am recognizing even at this moment, at this hallowed moment, and what I have been recognizing throughout our district, our state, and our nation, is a sense and the embodiment of an American community.
Amen. Yes.
The word community, unfortunately, is often thrown around. And there are very few persons who have truly embraced what it means to commune with one another. For persons to commune with one another based on their shared heritage and their shared values. Communities are made up, one, of commerce, business, free enterprise. In this nation, in this representative democracy, here in the United States, persons have the ability to go into business for themselves. And unfortunately, there are those who sit in power currently, who we're going to remove in November, who believe that persons should be penalized for their success. If there is anything that is un-American, it is the idea that someone should be penalized for their success. And so I am emboldened and I am inspired by the number of long-lasting small businesses that exist throughout eastern North Carolina, and particularly here in northeastern North Carolina. But communities are also based on caring and compassion. As an ordained Baptist minister, I hope if you don't mind if I talk about the Lord for just 1 second. Is that all right?
Amen. Yes.
One of the most important things that Jesus did throughout the Gospels was to heal people. He was a healer. He did that because it was his mission. It was a part of his earthly ministry. If you notice, the Roman government did not do that because it's not the role of government to be involved in healthcare. But in the midst of Jesus walking throughout Judea, as he walked up and down the dusty roads of Galilee, healing, teaching, and preaching, he said to his followers, "Greater works than these shall you do." That means that we now have a calling and a commission to take care of one another.
Amen.
For us to take care of one another in a way that the government constitutionally is not supposed to.
Amen.
It is our job as people of this great nation to care for one another, to do what government should not and cannot do. And so in that sense, that means that we still have persons who are in the work of healing, providing care. And the reason that that is possible is because we have institutions such as the College of the Albemarle, in which nursing students are trained, in which we have faculty committed to training nurses and healthcare providers. Because we, the people, care for one another. That's not the role of government. That is what we do. But even at this time, there's one more dimension of a community that is important, along with commerce, along with compassion and care. There's safety. Our commerce could not exist unless we are safe. Our compassion and our care could not exist without protection. Being from Goldsboro, North Carolina, I'm so used to our skies being protected by the F-15Es that fly overhead day and night, as Seymour Johnson Air Force Base is located in Goldsboro. But it's wonderful for me at this moment to look at this beautiful coast and to know that this coast is protected and that all of us are safe right now. Unfortunately, there are persons throughout our nation who take our safety for granted, as if freedom is free. But you know and I know that freedom is paid for by the blood, by the sweat, and the tears of men and women in uniform who give their all in order for us to have our security. And the importance of our security means so much to me at this moment, as I stand in front of this wonderful coast. As I stand here at this waterfront, I realize that the reason that we are so safe is because since 1790, Alexander Hamilton founded the United States Coast Guard.
Yeah.
And so in that sense, as I want to be brief, and I am here to answer any questions, any concerns, I will make no pretensions to be perfect, as I'm not. I have never sought public office in my life. But over the last 6 years, I began examining the voting record of the incumbent. And I had questions that were unanswered. I then attended a town hall meeting last year in which I saw the incumbent absolutely polarize the room. And neither his rhetoric nor his decorum was that which was envisioned by our founders and our framers. I did not see an incumbent who embodied a sense of Article 1, Section 2. I did not see an incumbent who represented what James Madison had intended for members of the House of Representatives when he wrote Federalist Number 57. And so in that sense, my concern is for all of us. I live here, and we deserve better.
Yes.
We deserve representation that is attentive to us. Responsive representation.
Yeah.
And so, in ending my comments, I have been made aware that the motto of the United States Coast Guard is Semper Paratus, always ready. And so in that sense, I want to be ready to answer your questions and concerns. I realize that there are many persons, and I am one of them, who have grown frustrated with the direction and the misdirection of government. And so in that sense, I had much rather seek this nomination and lose being tarred and feathered and the voices of the people be redeemed than to go to Washington to continue this unfortunate, unconstitutional, and immoral trend in which our leaders have taken us for granted. thank you so much for having me. I hope that I did not stumble too much, as I did just want to speak from my heart. But thank you so much for having me here at this wonderful American, truly American event.